I've always believed that family is supposed to have your back. That blood means something. That no matter what, you could trust the people who were there when you took your first steps and scraped your knees. My sister Mia? She was there for all of that. She was older, confident, and always a little reckless. But I loved her, trusted her, until the day I realized she had betrayed me in the worst way imaginable. It started with a letter. I remember the exact moment. I was sipping coffee at my small kitchen table, my dog curled at my feet, when I opened an envelope marked urgent. Inside was a notice from a bank I didn't recognize, stating I was past due on a payment for a personal loan of $80,000. My hands shook as I read the details. My name, my social security number, even my current address were all listed. But I had never taken out a loan. Not for $80,000. Not for anything. I called the number listed and spent 2 hours on the phone getting transferred from one department to another, trying to understand how this had happened. Eventually, a kind but firm representative told me, "Ma'am, the loan was approved 6 weeks ago. Funds were wired to a checking account under your name. Only I hadn't opened a new checking account." That night, I barely slept. I dug through my emails, my files, everything. I was terrified. Was this identity theft? Had someone stolen my personal information? I froze my credit, contacted the police, and began the nightmare of unraveling the fraud. It wasn't until 2 days later that the truth punched me in the gut. I was at my parents' house for dinner, trying to keep it together while figuring out how to bring this up. But Mia beat me to it. "Hey," she said, tossing her long curls over her shoulder as she poured herself a glass of wine. "Did you get the loan yet?" I stared at her. "What?" She grinned. "The 80 grand. I told them you'd be approved no problem. Your credit's like perfect." My jaw dropped. What are you talking about?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. She rolled her eyes like I was being dramatic. "Oh, don't look at me like that. I needed the money, and I knew they wouldn't give it to me. But you're golden. I used your info. Don't worry, I'll pay it back." I was speechless. Frozen. "You stole my identity," I said slowly. "Borrowed," she corrected. "Come on, it's family. It's like a gift. Thanks for the gift, sis." I stood up. "You committed fraud, Mia." "Oh, please," she scoffed. "Stop being so uptight. You weren't using it." I left dinner without another word. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might pass out. I couldn't believe what I'd just heard. She had done this casually, without guilt or fear. Like I was just a tool in her financial mess. Over the next few days, I tried to fix it. I called the bank again, explained the situation. But since it was technically my name and info, and the money had gone to an account also under my name, albeit opened fraudulently, there wasn't much they could do without proof. Proof that Mia had done this. So I gathered what I could, the account numbers, emails she had used, a copy of the forged signature. I filed a police report. I begged Mia to fix it before it went too far. She blocked me. And then, 1 week later, she posted a photo on social media, standing in front of a luxury car with the caption, "When your dreams start coming true." My stomach churned. I was $80,000 in debt for a car I'd never driven, because of a sister who saw me as nothing more than a bank. Then she got the call. I didn't know it at the time, but everything was about to change. It's funny how betrayal doesn't just come in waves. It lingers, like fog that settles deep in your bones. Even my apartment started to feel different after that dinner. Like the very walls knew I had been violated. My landlord stopped by one afternoon with a concerned look on his face. "Hey, is everything all right?" he asked. "I got a notice about a lien being filed under your name. I'm not trying to pry, but that's serious." A lien. That was when it hit me how far Mia's actions had gone. She hadn't just borrowed money. She had entangled my entire financial identity in a lie I never agreed to. I couldn't eat. Couldn't sleep. I found myself standing in front of the mirror one night, looking at someone I didn't recognize. Eyes sunken, cheeks pale, energy drained. I had always prided myself on being responsible, careful, trustworthy. Now, in the eyes of the world, I was a liar who defaulted on a massive loan. I took time off work. I couldn't focus. HR tried to be understanding, but I knew my performance was slipping. The weight of $80,000 was crushing. And Mia? She was living it up, flaunting her new lifestyle with every Instagram post. My parents were no help either. "You're overreacting," my dad said when I brought it up. "She's your sister. Families go through stuff. She committed a crime, Dad." He sighed. "Maybe. But calling the police? Isn't that a bit much? A bit much. It felt like the world was upside down. Like I was the one who had done something wrong for wanting justice. I had proof, evidence, a case number, but no emotional support. Even my best friend, Rachel, was stunned. She tried to help, offered to loan me money, helped me dig through paperwork, even drove me to meetings with legal aid. But nothing could erase the feeling of complete and utter betrayal. Then the letter came. Another envelope. This time from a lawyer. Mia's lawyer. She was suing me. Apparently, she wanted to claim that I had gifted her the money and that my claim of identity theft was a vindictive act of sibling jealousy. I nearly laughed. Laughed, cried, screamed. All at once. But something in me snapped. A calm, focused rage. I wasn't going to let this go. I hired a lawyer, put the retainer on a credit card because I had no choice, and we began building a case. Every email, every message, every screenshot of her bragging online. It became evidence. It became ammunition. And finally, after months of anxiety, panic, and loneliness, I got a call too. It was the police. "Ma'am," the officer said, "your sister has been taken into custody." My knees nearly gave out. Turns out, the bank had been conducting its own investigation behind the scenes. They traced the IP addresses used to open the fraudulent accounts, confirmed the forged documents, and filed charges. Mia had finally gone too far. Her lies had caught up with her. But the cost? The damage? It was still mine to carry. And that's the thing about betrayal. Even when justice is served, the scars remain. The call that changed everything didn't fix everything overnight. In fact, if anything, it just marked the beginning of a new, more brutal chapter. Yes, Mia had been arrested. But that didn't erase the debt. It didn't erase the lawsuits. It didn't restore my reputation. And it didn't give me back the sleep I had lost or the confidence that had been crushed. My lawyer told me the arrest was just the first step. The bank was pressing charges, but I'd still need to work with them directly to undo the damage to my credit. That meant affidavits, interviews, and proving beyond all doubt that I wasn't involved in the scam. The police had what they needed. The IP addresses matched Mia's home internet. The bank records showed transfers between the fraudulent account and her personal one. Even her own social media helped us. Posts showing the car, the shopping sprees, even a selfie at the dealership on the same day the funds were released. But legally, it wasn't just cut and dry. And emotionally, I was wrecked. The fallout hit me in waves. First came the media. Local news caught wind of the arrest and ran a short story. Woman arrested for defrauding sister of $80,000. They didn't name me, but people figured it out. Old friends reached out. Some offered support. Others were more interested in gossip. Then came the tension with my family. My parents were devastated, not at what Mia had done, but that she had been arrested at all. "You really couldn't handle this privately?" my mom asked, tears in her eyes. "She stole my identity," I replied, barely containing my frustration. "She wrecked my credit. She sued me. What was I supposed to do?" "She's your sister," she yelled. "Exactly," I whispered. "And she treated me like a stranger." The guilt trips came daily. My father refused to speak to me for weeks. When he finally did, it was only to say, "Family means forgiveness." "Then tell her to apologize," I said. "Tell her to fix what she broke." But they never did. Instead, my parents tried to play peacemakers. They begged the judge to go easy on Mia, claimed she had mental health struggles, and that I was blowing things out of proportion. My own mother wrote a letter to the court asking for leniency, and didn't tell me. I found out when it was read aloud during the pretrial hearing. I sat there, stunned, listening to my mother describe me as emotionally fragile and quick to anger, as if justifying Mia's theft by painting me as unstable. My fists clenched so tightly I left crescent moon shapes in my palms. After the hearing, I confronted her. "You lied to the court," I said. "I protected my daughter," she replied, eyes steely. "I'm your daughter too." She didn't answer. I left that courthouse more alone than I had ever felt in my life. But despite everything, the betrayals, the isolation, I kept pushing forward. I started working with a financial recovery counselor. I enrolled in a credit monitoring service, disputed every mark on my report, and spent countless nights compiling documentation. It was tedious, painful, exhausting work. But slowly, things started to shift. One by one, the fraudulent accounts were flagged and removed. The credit bureaus updated their reports. I got official letters from the bank acknowledging the fraud. Slowly, the weight began to lift. Meanwhile, Mia's case moved forward. She took a plea deal. 5 years of probation, community service, and full restitution. That meant she had to pay the bank back, and in turn, the bank would remove the debt from my name. But we both knew what that meant. She wasn't going to pay it. She didn't have a job. She didn't have savings. Everything she had bought with that $80,000, the car, the electronics, the trips, was gone. She had sold some of it before her arrest, and the rest had been repossessed or seized. In the end, the bank forgave a portion of the debt and wrote the rest off as a loss. My credit wasn't perfect, but I wasn't buried anymore. Still, I wanted closure. I needed to know why. So I wrote Mia a letter. Not out of forgiveness. Not out of hope. But because there were words in me that needed to be said. I told her how she had made me feel. How her betrayal had hollowed out everything I thought I knew about family. I told her I wasn't writing for reconciliation. I was writing for me. Because silence had nearly destroyed me, and I refused to let her rob me of my voice too. She never wrote back. Months passed. Life resumed, but not like before. I became more guarded, more cautious. I learned to question the people closest to me, to demand boundaries and respect and accountability. Therapy helped. So did Rachel, who stood by me through every sleepless night and panic attack. My workplace was patient as I rebuilt my confidence. And slowly, I started to trust again. Not my family, not Mia, but myself. And that was the hardest and most important part of all. I moved to a new apartment, changed my phone number, started over. There's something oddly powerful about starting fresh when you didn't choose to lose everything, like reclaiming control over a life someone tried to hijack. One night, almost a year after the arrest, I got a call from an unknown number. I let it go to voicemail. When I listened, I froze. It was Mia. Her voice was quiet. Tired. "I know you probably hate me," she said. "I don't blame you. I just wanted you to know I'm trying. I got a job. It's not much, but I'll start paying the restitution. I'm sorry. I was stupid and selfish, and I don't expect anything. Just, I'm sorry." I deleted the message. I didn't reply, because sorry doesn't erase the past. It doesn't fix the months I spent drowning in stress, fear, and shame. And it sure as hell doesn't make what she did okay. But still, I hope she meant it. Not for me. For her. Because maybe one day, she'll understand that when you betray someone who trusts you completely, the price isn't just legal, it's emotional. It's spiritual. It's the look in the mirror when you realize the person staring back doesn't recognize you anymore. And maybe, just maybe, that's a heavier debt than money could ever measure.